Hey guys, good morning. It's July 11th. Actually, it's July 12th. I don't know why I'm thinking it's July 11th. July 12th, 2024. And today it's time to talk about Kamala Harris. Now, why are we talking about Kamala Harris? Well, the Democrats have now said that she is the front runner to replace Biden. Now, of course, all this could change over time, but now she has been picked as the top backup candidate should Biden end his re-election campaign. As you can see here in the news headlines, this dated from the Washington Post yesterday. Now, of course, there are all kinds of other possible choices, but we are going to look at her because she is the top pick. Now, this is a scenario I could have never anticipated. I had no idea that the Democrats would pull this rabbit out of a hat. But what we did look at was this scene from IPET Go 2 about Kamala Harris. Many of you will remember the decode that we did on this particular scene of IPET Go 2. Now, if you're new to the channel, IPET Go 2 was a 7-minute animation. It's what you're looking at right now on your screen, that seemed to have predicted many events that had not happened yet. And this was an animation that came out in 2012. The very first event that it seemed to predict was the Handy Sook school event. And fill in the blanks there. We have to talk in code on this channel, so people in the chat can help you with the coded language, because you're not allowed to talk about these things anymore because YouTube will take you off of the platform. So that was the very first event that it predicted. It then predicted the Aurora, Colorado scrutiny that happened not long after that, and many other events. Now, what am I talking about? How did Kamala Harris show up in IPET Go 2? Well, this is the scene here. I'm going to play this through. The apple rolls across the floor. And we already know that the name Kamala means lotus in Sanskrit, which is what opens up out of this apple, a lotus flower. Now, not only does the lotus flower open up, it has a white splotch of paint on it. A white splotch of paint. The lotus opens up, and it hits the shoe of Barack Obama. That's his shoe there. And the camera will pan up to his face. And this lotus opening up triggers a nervous response. Now, this could also be another bodily fluid instead of sweat, because of the phallic imagery on the chalkboard that is in frame here. You can just barely see it on the right side of the frame here. His graduation cap points to it. Now, what could all this mean? Well, we're going to break this all down today. We're going to break all this down, try to figure this out. I did some research on this, and I found out that Kamala Harris was born 77 days from Barack Obama. They were born in different years. They're close in age, but on the calendar, it's 77 days apart. And she apparently, according to Wikipedia, is part of a very small group of people, a small group of politicians, which include Obama. And they say, not me, I'm not saying this, but they say that they both have non-European ancestry, and have reached the highest levels of executive branch with non-European ancestry. In fact, she has been referred to often as the female Obama. Now, at one point, Obama actually even endorsed Kamala Harris. So this still begs the question, why is he sweating? Or, again, it could be another bodily fluid in this scene after the Kamala flower opens up and hits his shoe. let's try to get down to the bottom of this. Now, I dug into Kamala Harris's background because I thought, okay, if she becomes the nominee for the presidency for the Democratic Party to run against Trump, and let's say that they tried to, say that she won. We'll just say that. We can't use certain words, but let's just try to say that she won. Well, that would cause a huge division in America, would it not? Kamala Harris has already even pulled the race card, which is probably why they feel forced to run her. She says, I should be the shoe-in for the nomination if something happens to Biden. After all, I am the vice president. These are her words saying this. And she says, if that doesn't happen, then you all are racist, essentially is what she said. So this is why we're digging into her past, because she would be the perfect catalyst to kick off some kind of race war that they have been pining for a very long time, haven't they? So I dug into her. And look at this. This is her husband, Doug Emhoff. He is Jewish and an entertainment lawyer. His clients include Walmart and the pharmaceutical company Merck. World's starting to look like a much smaller place, isn't it? And you have to ask yourself, is this guy her handler on some level? Now, I don't know this, but it all remains to be seen. I did a search on this guy, and there's absolutely zero information in any searches that I could find of his life before Kamala Harris. They were married in 2014. I did searches by date to see if I could find any connections to him and Obama or anything like that, and there's absolutely nothing. Every time the search result comes back, it only says first gentleman, the second gentleman is what he would be called, of the United States. First lady would be Kamala Harris. Now, or second lady. So, why is Obama sweating? This is the question. Well, there's one aspect to this that could be part of it. Obama made a comment about Kamala Harris. This was early on in his presidency. He said something like she was the best looking attorney general, because at the time she was attorney general. He got huge backlash for this. It caused a storm, and he had to actually apologize for this. So this could be what's going on here. Or maybe this is about her outdoing him with the threat of becoming the first black female president. Or let's keep playing this out here. The camera pans out at this point, and he is literally staring directly down at the lotus flower down here at his feet, the Kamala. Now, he's got this graduation cap on, and the tassel and what side of the hat that it's on matters. Apparently, the tassels move to the left. Once a person graduates from college, there's a purple tassel. We broke this down in previous videos, but that's pretty much all I had for this aspect of IPET GOAT 2. We'll keep an eye on these developments as Creepy Sleepy Joe begins to fall by the wayside for the Democrat Party. I do have some other headlines for you today. We're going to talk about Barron Trump and him making his debut in the political arena. There were grumblings about this earlier on, like a couple of months ago. He showed up somewhere for some political event, but he has now since officially made his political debut at 18 years old on July 9th. Let's read about this and some other headlines today. Barron Trump makes political debut at father's rally. You're pretty popular. The Hill. There's Barron Trump, very, very tall. Donald, son of Donald McLeod, which is the Bran seer prophecy about Donald, son of Donald, with a sooty kabar, they call it, which is The other word is jabar, a black sooty kabar that he wielded against his enemies. You can look up the Bran Seer prophecy about the MacLeod clan of Scotland. Fascinating stuff. Makes you wonder what this person's future is in all of this. Son of Donald. Barron Trump made his political debut at his father's rally on Tuesday after being largely absent from the campaign trail. Barron Trump, this is the first time he's ever done it. Barron, former President Trump said during the Doral, Florida event on Tuesday. Doral, Florida. Barron is 18, youngest of the former president's children. Tuesday was his first ever appearance at one of his father's campaign rallies. Now, you could see a Barron Trump rising to power, I would say even more so than his brothers and sisters. Why? Because he was outside of the whole drama with Trump, was he not? You can imagine that all the other Trump family, all the other siblings were heavily involved in the campaigns and in defending their father, defending Donald Trump. But Barron is essentially did not get his hands dirty because he was a minor. So you could see him flipping the script, or them flipping the script through him to run him, because he has no blood on his hands, so to speak. Let's keep reading here and see if there's any clues about what the future might hold for the son of Donald. Tuesday was his first ever appearance at one of his father's campaign rallies. Trump's other sons have often been seen at campaign events for their father. Melania, like Barron, has not been spotted at many of Trump's political events. Barron stood up and waved to the supporters in attendance at his father's request before giving a thumbs up to the crowd as they clapped and cheered. Now, of course, this is going to be a thing. Let's keep reading here. Trump boasted about his son, saying the college-bound Barron got into every school he applied to. His comments were met with enthusiasm from the audience, as the former president described Barron as a very good guy. That's the first time he's done it. That's the first time, right? Trump said, "You're pretty popular. He might be more popular than Don and Eric. We got to talk about this. Hey, Don, we got to talk about this." So, Barron, it's good to have you, Trump said, adding that Barron had such a nice, easy life. Now it's a little bit changed. After the rally, Trump posted photos of Barron waving to the crowd and pumping his fist on Truth Social. Trump said earlier this year that Barron advises him on politics, noting that he is a smart one. And he's been a really great student, and he does like politics. Dad, this is what you have to do, is what he tells his father. Wow, almost the inference is though there's some kind of savant type characteristic that Donald Trump plugs into to get advice that he's not getting from maybe his other children. Makes you wonder. So, we'll keep an eye on Barron Trump. Maybe I'll re-upload the video that we did on Barron Trump. I was hesitant before because he was a minor, but now the gloves are off and he has made his announcement that he's joining the cabal, essentially, the way that we know that Satan rules this world, and he's dipping his finger into this. And so this will be something we'll need to take a close look at. Now, let's get into these other stories. Yeah, I'll probably re-upload the Barron Trump decode that we did. We found a picture of Barron Trump from the 1900s from a book about a boy named Barron Trump. So we'll re-upload that book. It's called The Last President. What else is going on? Well, the rise of nuclear power is being driven by artificial intelligence needs. This is the Washington Post. Now, Donald Trump has already talked on an interview with one of the Paul brothers. I don't know if it was Logan Paul. And basically, they talked about artificial intelligence. We talked about this a couple weeks ago on a show. Artificial intelligence, it was brought up. And Trump said we could use it for good and we need to get in front of it. So he's fully on board with artificial intelligence. He thinks he can make something good out of it. We all know that artificial intelligence is the devil's control mechanism of this world. But Trump is pretending like it's not, and that it's arbitrary and can be used for good or evil. and has already made the case that he is fully invested in a new presidency to basically try to rein in or take control of the artificial intelligence. And we know that one of the leading artificial intelligence spokespersons is Elon Musk, who is tight with Donald Trump on many levels. So this is all going to happen. And so now they're talking about reviving these nuclear power plants, which also Donald Trump has expressed needs to be done. So in a roundabout way, he's saying we need to revive these power plants so that artificial intelligence can thrive. Let's read about this, you guys. This is very, very important about our future, especially when Donald Trump becomes president. The dormant power plant, renowned as the site of the worst nuclear accident in U.S. history, 3 Mile Island, may be switched back on, driven in part by the ravenous energy appetites of artificial intelligence developers. The plant along the Susquehanna River in Pennsylvania, where a partial reactor meltdown in 1979 sent the nation into panic and the nuclear industry reeling, is part of a broader push backed by the White House to bring mothballed nuclear facilities back to life, something that has never been done in this country. Now remember, they're saying Biden's wanting this, but Trump also has expressed the desire to do the same. So this is a bipartisan effort, right and left, to bring these nuclear power plants back online. To the alarm of some nuclear safety advocates, owner Constellation Energy is laying the groundwork for recommissioning with recent tests at 3 Mile Island's dormant Unit 1 reactor. Shut down in 2019, Unit 1 sits next to the former Unit 2 reactor that partially melted down 45 years ago. The company told investors recently is weighing its restart, a process that would take several years. Wow. Let's see if there's anything else about artificial intelligence here. Here's the Palisades nuclear power plant in Michigan. It's planning to have it up and running by the end of next year. We also know that Bill Gates is working on a power plant as well. That tells you everything you need to know about the future of all this. Wow. Now, of course, Biden is trying to take credit for this for those that are advocates for nuclear power. Says the shift is being driven in part by clean energy subsidies championed by the Biden administration, right? But understand this is bipartisan. Trump wants the very same thing. Wow. States are also jumping on the nuclear bandwagon. So they did the problem, reaction, solution, right? They got rid of nuclear power, but then they started having all these brownouts and blackouts and shortage of energy and high energy costs. And now they have people begging for nuclear power plants to come back online. And that's the typical problem, reaction, solution scenario, isn't it? So what else is going on? Let's keep reading here, see if there's anything about artificial intelligence. Oh, it says here a boom in manufacturing and interest in electric vehicles are driving additional demand. And absolutely the opposite is true. Nobody wants electric vehicles. Their sales are struggling. Nobody wants them. But we talked about this, that they would come up with an electric solution, that Trump would come up with some miracle electrical solution, and then there would be no excuses for them not to force electric vehicles. So let's keep reading here. A dozen nuclear power plants have shut down in the United States over the last decade, and most of them are probably beyond the point of being revived. Their reactors have been dismantled, their other infrastructure hauled away or left to decay. But in other places, the equipment could still be functional if regulators approve powering it up. So artificial intelligence, and this will drive the artificial intelligence. Remember I told you the two were connected? I told you that the blockchain and how it has this data mining and all this has huge energy requirements, and that would be linked into and segued into this artificial intelligence demands, and that the whole data mining thing was always the segue. That's why they set it up. They needed to build the infrastructure. to segue into artificial intelligence. They already knew, and all the people involved in blockchain and Bitcoin and all these things were helping to drive that. They needed our participation. We are the ones that built our own prison. And when artificial intelligence comes fully online, there will be no resistance. Now, this next story is interesting because, again, we talk a lot about the both parties being the same, and this is more proof of that. The Democratic leadership has now admitted behind closed doors that they essentially believe that Trump isn't so bad if he wins over Biden. It's basically a tacit endorsement of Trump. Literally, the Democrats in secret endorsed Trump privately. This is unbelievable. Now you see the problem. Imagine the horror of people who support Trump, who are in the right-left paradigm, right? They're like, what the heck? Wait, I thought you hated them. I thought you liked to beat up on the Democrats. And here the Democrats are saying, essentially, he's not so bad. Let's read about this. Let me check in with you guys and we'll read about this. Shocking, isn't it? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the channel. So what did the Democrats have to say about Donald Trump in secret that they got busted for? Let's read. Liberals on social media seethed in reaction to Democratic lawmakers reportedly admitting behind the scenes that former President Trump isn't a threat to democracy as their party loudly claims. What? Top Democrats have told them off the record as they panic over whether they should support or abandon President Biden on their ticket. People are weighing this set of things like it would be quite unpleasant for me personally to come out against the president as an elected official in the Democratic Party, and weighing what will happen if Donald Trump wins and saying in a revealed preference way, I can live with Donald Trump winning. And I've heard people say to me off the record, to be fair, wow, they can live with Donald Trump winning. Wow. Here's another quote. I have had top Democrats say to me, basically, I don't know why all these Democrats who think Donald Trump is an existential threat to democracy are acting the way they are. But the reason I'm acting the way I am is because I don't think that, Klein continued. So this is Ezra Klein spilling the beans on top Democrats. And what this does is it basically takes all the teeth out of the Democrat Party, and it's a shoo-in for Donald Trump. Wow. Welcome to 2024. Where are we living right now? The Twilight Zone. Of course, this is gaslighting the right. The right is going insane right now, going, what is happening? What are we doing? But they're so asleep. They'll just be glad that Trump wins. They won't even give this story a second thought. This is why I stay out of the right-left paradigm. Now, here's some more national park fear stories. Remember, we told you that there's this movement by our own federal government on many levels to keep people out of national parks. Well, they like to run stories like this to fear people from visiting the national parks. The headline is 2 Colorado national parks amongst the deadliest, most dangerous in America. And they show basically a kill list here of the most dangerous national parks. Number 1 is Oregon Pipe Cactus in Arizona, 25 deaths per million visits. Wow. And then they go down the list here and show all this is the death list. So they obviously don't want people going to national parks. Eventually, I believe that many of them will be shut down. They'll blame it on reasons like this. Now, here's some crazy footage. We're also going to get into some other stories today. Apparently, the woman from The Shining died. We're going to break that down at the end of this show today. But let's take a look at this shocking video of this guy who plowed into a nail salon. Warning, distressing content. Let's fix this here. This is nuts. Let's take a look, you guys. Now, I couldn't believe the speed at which this car came barreling through. Now, what you're looking for is up here in the upper left corner. The nail salon is over here on the right. And you're going to see a car come speeding from this street through this parking lot and right into the front of this building. See if we can make this happen for you guys. Front left, shocking video shows. Okay. Refresh this for you guys. Hold on. This is New York Post, July 10th. There's the screenshot of it. Now let's play the video. Here we go. Drunk driver, apparently. This guy walks out. Look at here, you see car upper left. That thing is flying. Bam. That guy just goes, he just keeps on going about his business. Just goes and gets in his car. What? The guy just gets in his Jeep. He's like, okay, time to go. Time to go. Wow. Here, I think they're going to show it again here. There's the car upper left corner. That thing's going about 60, maybe 70 miles an hour. And this guy just gets in his car calmly. Now, these things are not so shocking for people to see anymore. We're on information overload, and people just normal guy gets in his Jeep and just drives off. Other people look in shock and amazement. Wonder if anyone died. Doesn't say here. Wow. So anyway, this is the world we live in now, you guys. All right, what happened to Shelley Duvall? Shelley Duvall, of course, played the wife of Jack Nicholson in the movie The Shining. We've done a lot of decodes on the movie The Shining. She was then featured not long ago, gosh, was it 5 years ago, on Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil made a mockery of her because now she's suffering from, she was suffering from mental illness. A lot of people were mad at Dr. Phil because of that, her fall from grace. And in my analysis of what happened to her, The Shining came out 44 years ago in 1980, and the film was 144 minutes long. So to me, this almost seems like there's something to this. Some kind of sacrifice. There it is, The Shining, the tide of terror that swept America is here. Interestingly, other versions of the film were 119 minutes. The European version, 9/11 backwards, it made $19 million. 9/11, of course, was America's tide of terror. So all these numbers mean something. Wow, just wow. Let me go back in the chat for a bit, see what you guys are up to before we pop off here. Thanks everybody for showing up to the channel today. Good morning. Florida is now called the Free State. Huh. We are watching a movie, says Digital Revolution. It certainly feels like that, doesn't it? I believe all media is pretty much a movie at this point. Nothing is by accident. It's all by design to shape and form human behavior. All right. Now, if you're just tuning into the channel, we go live every single day except for Saturday at this time, 7:30 Central Time. Love to have you show up, make it a part of your daily routine. Sometimes we do film decodes. Sometimes we do World Gone Wild between the headlines. So happy to have you guys show up every day. It's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and pop off of here. I love each and every one of you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. Much love.